Who has time to do their hair when they're too busy organising their life? Hey guys, my name is Maryellen, and for those of you who haven't visited my channel before, welcome! I'm so glad you're here. If you're interested in videos on productivity, lifestyle, self-improvement, creativity, or faith, make sure you hit that subscribe button below and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on juicy info that could help you to live your best life. So let's just cut to the chase. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a deep, in-depth look at my personal organization system, which basically involves two platforms, being Notion and Google Calendar. And I'm going to show you how I integrate these two to be as streamlined and to work as much for me as possible. If you're an OG subscriber to my channel, you may have seen a video about my bullet journaling system and how I integrate my faith and my life. And that worked really well for me for a very long time, but things have gotten a lot busier since then. And I've just found that because bullet journaling is such an intensive process, you want to be a perfectionist about it, you want to get the page numbers right. If you make a mistake, you have to manually erase it and you feel terrible about yourself because you're like, oh my goodness, I made a mistake on my perfect spread. It just got a bit much. So about 6 months ago, I started having a look around for platforms that could really help me to streamline my process. I looked at Trello, I looked at Monday.com, Asana, I even tried. I was kind of barking up the wrong tree with some of these until I found Notion. And this magical little app is so powerful. And just so you know, this video is not sponsored. This is just my system that I'm using, if you're interested. In summary, I basically split my life into three main categories. I split it into my 9-to-5 job, my Maryellen creative channel, and also my personal and household sort of tasks and chores and social life and all that stuff. So with that in mind, because I've separated my life into those categories, it's really easy to integrate my Google Calendar with my Notion platform without being really prescriptive and trying to task block everything in Google Calendar and without having to have a million tabs on Notion. So without further ado, I'm just going to go and sit in the corner and show you everything that Notion has to offer and how I personally do it. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so welcome from my future self, because I filmed this video in two parts, because when you work a full-time job and you also run a YouTube channel, you just got to make do with the time that you have, which hopefully we'll be diving into a little bit right now. So in front of me here, I have my Notion layout, including all of the different pages I have on the left-hand side here. But this is the Life Hub tab, and this is where 99% of all the action happens. So here I have my daily. So this is the page that I access every day. So what I try to do is I try to stay focused on those big yearly, more than one yearly goals by having them in front of me every single day. I then have my Maryellen creative chapter, which is my YouTube channel, my Instagram account, and basically anything that I'm doing where I'm getting paid to be a creative or anything I do professionally, in inverted commas, outside of my regular 9-to-5 job. And then finally here in this third column, I have my household and personal, which I break down into three categories, which is basically household, personal, and church. Before I dive into any of these categories though, what I want to do is take you through basically how I use this page. So on this page, I have my goals, and these correspond directly to the goals I have on this page here. Hi, hello, yes, this is Maryellen from the future, number 2. If you would like a more in-depth look at how I set goals and how I lay them out in Notion, let me know in the comments below. But for now, to save you from a really long video, just know that my goals are broken up into yearly, monthly, and then weekly chapters. And this table here corresponds directly to the table that appears on my homepage. So it's always there, always in front of me. I can always reference it. As you can see, if I complete a goal for that week, it disappears from the checklist, which is very satisfying, but I won't do that, otherwise I'll forget to do it right now. Below this, I have my immediate tasks, and these tasks are typically not projects. So these are little things I have to do, like scan my marriage certificate for work or organize my home layout on my phone. Then below this immediate priorities checklist, I then have my upcoming tasks checklist. And this is just basically a brain dump of all the things that I think I need to do soon or need to do now. And I also assign them a priority. So as soon as I look through this and something turns into an immediate priority, I drag it up into this table here. Then below this, something else I find that really helps me to just organize my time, because food is such a central part of life. I try to plan out my meals to an extent, not completely, but I try and have an idea of what I need to buy and the meals that I'm going to make this week. And this table here, much like the goals table on my homepage, corresponds to a page in my household list, which is called recipes and groceries. So if I click on this, basically there's a shopping list here that goes through all the kind of things that I need. And if you can't tell so far, I really love the toggle menus option in Notion. It's one of my favorite features. And then in the right-hand column, I have all of the different meals that I could make. And this is by no means an exhaustive list. I just take notes or put things on here when I see something fun on Pinterest, or when someone makes something that I really like, I just add it to the list. So in this table, I've also created a relation to the table on the main page. So I've just cleared this meal table on the home page to show you how this recipe relations toggle works. So what we can do, we can go to our recipes and groceries page again, and then look down the list here. And what I like to do, it's really useful having them all listed, because typically recipes will have ingredients in common. You know, you're going to be creating things with the same kind of stuff. So I try to pick meals that are similar to each other, but not too similar that you get bored of them, if that makes sense. So for example, here we've got potato and leek soup. Sounds good. So what I can do, I can go here and click in the relation column. So let's say on Monday, I've got nothing on. So I'll click on the Monday here. So I'm going to have that on Monday. Then let's have a look down the list. We've also got creamy garlic mushroom soup. That sounds good. So I'll put that on Tuesday. Ooh, balsamic herb mushroom. That sounds good. Ooh, I could make smashed potatoes as a side. So as you can see here, if I go then back to my Life Hub page and I scroll down, all of these recipes are turning up here. So that's a really useful feature to me, because it just allows me to see all the recipes I could make during the week and just takes out that choice paralysis, because I can align the ingredients with each other, and then I'm not so wasteful and I can just do one shop during the week, and it works out a little bit easier than trying to plan what I'm going to do every single night. So that's the left-hand column of my Life Hub. Then on the right-hand side, I have a really simple daily routine and habit checklist. So this I fill in every single day. So this morning I woke up at 5, I took my temperature, drank a liter of water in the morning before I went and exercised, and then I did my skin, hair and teeth routine. And now it's the evening and I'm filming this video. So say tonight I have done 8 of these 10 things. What I'll do, I'll give myself a score of 8. And then I have just a little thing here that will multiply that by a factor of 10 or a factor of more if I decide to be generous to myself. And that amount corresponds to a monetary percentage. So this earns me 80 cents for the day. And I know this may sound a little bit childish or a little bit gimmicky to some people, but for me this is really motivating, because I'm not constantly punishing myself for not achieving things, and I'm rewarding myself for the things that I do achieve. So last week, for example, I earned $3. I didn't do so well on my routines last week. So that's just a way that I keep track. At the end of the week, it'll give me a sum total, and then I'll just put the date that I take that, and I'll keep the tally there. I personally just found that the intrinsic motivation to achieve these goals just wasn't happening for me. Like, you know, if I read for 30 minutes per day, that's good and it's enjoyable, but it's not as enjoyable as watching half an hour of TikTok. So it's like, well, what is the reward in that sense? And so yes, okay, after 6 months of reading 30 minutes a day, I will have gone through heaps of books in comparison to just wasting my life away. But I don't always see that immediate reward. So I just really wanted something that would add a little extra edge, and rewarding myself monetarily seems to be doing that. And then finally, I've just got my recurring weekly tasks here, just to remind myself that every week on a Sunday night when I schedule in my Notion time, I need to update my weekly goals, I need to update my meals and groceries, and I also need to update my Google Calendar. So that is my Life Hub at a glance, but let me take you deeper into some of my other lists I have here. So I've already shown you my goals page. I've also got a brain dump, and this I actually have a shortcut to on my phone as well. I've got a shortcut to all 4 of these pages on my home screen so that I can always easily access them, because typically these are the 4 pages that I will access most and need to access in a hurry. If I have, if I'm shopping and I really need to remember to buy something, or if I have an amazing idea, I just want to be able to jot it down. So my brain dump is just not that clean, but it is a place where I can just put random stuff that I'm thinking of. And then on the side here, at least a couple of times a week, what I like to do is I like to sort of, keep tabs on everything that I'm doing so it doesn't become this crazy long page. I can just have a look, oh, that's what I was thinking that day or that week or that couple of days, and then I can just keep tabs of it there. Then secondly, I have my Maryellen Creative tab, and this has 3 subsections. So first and foremost, I have my Ideas Hub, and this is where I keep track of absolutely everything I'm creating on any social media platform, in any format. Just, it's everything in one. So in the left-hand column, I have all of the video ideas that I want to make in the future. And I won't go into detail of any of them, but these are just some of the things that I want to make. YouTube videos or Instagram reels or TikTok videos or Instagram posts, anything that I think would be cool, I put here. And some of them also have script, brain dump, and title ideas as well. This is a little bit of a promo for a future video I'm hoping to make. Then in the right-hand column here, I have the 2 videos that I'm currently working on. So my personal organization system for Notion is one of them. I've got TikTok video ideas, I've got product ideas that I want to make in the future, and I've got tips and tricks for personal and business growth. So any training I've done, any videos I've watched that have been really helpful, or anything like that, I will link on this page here. So yeah, that was my Ideas Hub. I try and keep it fairly simple and easy to access. I've also got a page about my brand identity and sort of the overview of all the things that I want it to stand for. And then finally, I have this column here, which has my personal, household, and church pages. So in here, I've got a shopping list. I've got a list of chores and like renovation things that we need to finish in our house. And then also in my personal column, I've got things I need to do to plan our wedding, so our next reception, just some notes here. I've also got my running schedule, so that's my training plan. And finally, I've got life lists. So this is just a miscellaneous brain dump, but organized brain dump in categories of things that I want to keep tabs of. So for example, here, these are some of the lyrics of some of the songs that Josh and I have written. Then I've also got a media page, so favorite TV, movies, podcasts, artists, things like that I want to keep tabs of. I won't go into all of them because some of them are kind of personal to me. And finally, I then have 2 shared boards. So I've got my 9-to-5 job at Adventist Record that I try and keep tabs on here, but that's not on my Life Hub page because I use that every single day, 9 to 5, so I just want it to be there. I don't want it to be integrated with any of this kind of other life stuff. And then also I've got a page of church planning. So this is a program we do at our church called Upper Rooms that I organise. So now that I've shown you my Notion, I also want to show you my Google Calendar and how I try to integrate that as seamlessly as possible with my Notion task listing. I've actually got 2 Google Calendars. So Josh and I share a calendar of any important events that we both need to remember we're going to. And that's kind of ugly and not particularly organized here. But Josh is a minimalist. He doesn't need all of this stuff cluttering his feed. So I'm very happy to just have this calendar then translate across to my main calendar. And what I do to organize my time is I have a version of time blocking that isn't completely going to overtake your life. I found that time blocking for me was just not a sustainable practice. I would put in everything like, eat for 15 minutes, have a break for 15 minutes, walk here for 15 minutes, whatever. And it just became so nitpicky that I just gave up completely and I just wanted to walk away from it. But this is a system that I believe is a lot more sustainable and one that can help you to also integrate all of the areas of your life into one. So what I do is I have different calendars in the left-hand column here. So I've got Maryellen Creative, which is this one. I've got Adventist Record, which is my 9-to-5 job. I've got my daily routines, which corresponds with this here. And then I've got my personal columns, so my household and personal, that I also have. Unfortunately, you can't get rid of reminders and tasks, so they just sit there in little empty boxes. Also, a tip with Google Calendar before I go on is if you press M on the keyboard, it shows you your monthly spread. If you press D, it shows you your daily spread. And if you press W, it shows you your week. So here I have split my day basically into 3 sections. I've got my mornings, I've got my in the middle of the day, and I've got my evenings. And what I like to do is, rather than specify, for example, it's 6:44 p.m. on a Monday right now, and I'm filming this video because it's part of my to-do list in my Notion of my Maryellen creative stuff that I have to do. And rather than specifying that per half-hour block, okay, I'm going to write a blog post, and I'm going to film the video, then I'm going to edit the video, blah, blah, blah. I always found that I used to do that and it would just burn me out completely. I just have a block here, and then how I use that time is up to me. Because I know what my priorities are. Notion tells me what my priorities are. There's no point in rehashing that. So that's how I basically structure my time. Tomorrow I'm going to have an hour of household stuff that I need to get done before I just have some chill time with Josh. Then Wednesday night I'm going to have another hustle night. Then Thursday I'm going to catch up with a friend, etc., etc. So that's how I structure my Google Calendar. It's not particularly complicated, but because I already have all of my to-do lists listed in Notion, it makes it very easy to think, okay, 5 o'clock in the morning, all right, it's my morning routine. Let me have a look at what that is. I look down here, I wake up, I take my temperature, I drink my water, I exercise, I do my skin, hair, nails. That's what I do in that time. I will also do a devotion first thing before I do anything else at about 5 till 5:30, 5:30 till 6, depending on when I wake up. And then my evening routine is the same. And then in order to fulfill my half marathon training plan, which touch wood actually happens, I have my running schedule. So I look at that and then I plan it out in my calendar per day when I need to go running. And I have color coordinated it based on the category that I have assigned in Notion. So you can do this by pressing the little plus icon next to the calendar that you've created, and then you can add a custom color here. It just really helps because I find that the default colors in Google are just really glary and not particularly motivating for me. So just having a nice pastel shade means that anything super important I can make in bright red, and I'll see it first of all, but also it's just a little bit more calming, not quite as intense. So guys, that is basically my whole system in a nutshell. I hope that was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments below if you use Notion or if you use Google Calendar and what that looks like for you. If you'd like to know any more details about how to implement or create any of the specifics, for example, the relationships between different tables or some of the, for example, formulas and things that I have created, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to create a follow-up video or maybe some follow-up TikToks, just some simple tips and tricks to help you guys. But I hope as a whole, segmenting your life into different chapters will help you to be able to organize your life better, both in a calendar mindset and also in a brain dump kind of a mindset, so you don't feel quite so overwhelmed. Anyway, I will let you go. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye.
So gullible, but that's who I used to be. All of this was avoidable, but you took advantage of me. You're the only one I thought that I could trust, but